Good evening, everybody. My name is Jim Buchanan, and this is another unboxing from the Board of Damocles. Today, I'm going to take a look at Tekhenu, Obelisk of the Sun, and this should be a little bit familiar for people who are fans of Daniele Tascini and David Turchi. In this case, Tascini, Teotihuacan, and Tzolk'in. I think those are probably the two most famous and biggest of those. I like both of them quite a bit. I loved Teotihuacan a lot. And Turchi is probably one of most well known, at least in my view, for his work on Anachrony, which is my favorite game. I do love it a lot and can't wait to get the expansion. So still waiting on that, but hey, looking forward to it. All right, well, this one is got a solo mode. I believe that David Turchi did the solo mode. That's, I think, one of the things that he often brings to games. I think like Petrichor and some other things that, and I know I'm leaving lots of things out, so sorry about that, but there are, I'm sure there are plenty. But all right, so this is Tekhenu, Obelisk of the Sun. So this one is an Egyptian era game as opposed to Teotihuacan, which was kind of middle America and kind of that section, Central America, that area of the world, and that time of the, I can't remember, not Aztecs, yeah. Anyway, and that civilization. Tzolk'in was the Mayan, and maybe it was Aztecs. Either way, really good game. This one also looks to be a really good game and very similar in its look, and I think that maybe the mechanics are very different, but I think the look is similar to Teotihuacan. So let me zoom in a little bit here. You can get a pretty good look at some things from the board, and I'll peel back here, and you can get a good idea of how that looks. But this one, 4 millennia ago, on the eastern banks of the Nile River, a foundation for what was to become the Temple of Amun-Ra was laid. Over the course of 2,000 years, the temple complex was gradually expanded until it became the largest religious building in the world. Today, the site is known as Karnak. Travel back in time and join the ancient pharaohs in creating one of the most impressive sites the world has seen, witnessed, and influenced 2,000 years of history, building, strategizing, and honoring the Egyptian gods Horus, Ra, Hathor, Bastet, Thoth, and Osiris. Manage and balance your actions carefully, as when the reckoning by the goddess Mont comes, your heart will be weighed, and a judgment of your deeds will determine your fate. It almost sounds like a horror movie, right? So either way, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a really fun game. It does have a solo mode. Like I said, it is 1 to 4 players, 1 to 2 hours, 14 plus. Not really buying the 1 to 2 hours if you're playing 4 people. Teotihuacan was easily a 3-hour game if you played with 4 people. Certainly the first few times. Now, having played it several times and played it with multiple people, it definitely can be played faster. There is no doubt about it. Teotihuacan is a fast-playing game once people get the hang of it. So I think that may be kind of where they're going with this one. But with this one, you've got this big obelisk in the center. And, you know, with Tzolk'in, you had the dials. With Teotihuacan, you were building that, I don't know, the temple, not a ziggurat, but building that temple up with the tiles. There's always something really intriguing and something that's got a really good hook with these games. And you know, like I said, I'm really excited about this one. I think it's very cool. The obelisk casts a shadow in some areas, and that changes the ability to select certain dice and your ability to use those in the actions and how good they are. Like, so it changes it varies the effectiveness of those actions. So I think that's really cool. So you're going to select a die from light or shadow, and that's based on where that obelisk is, right? So it casts a shadow, and that's either going to give you You can construct a farm, you can construct a mine, a statue, or you can get a blessing or harvest resources. You can raise a pillar in the temple complex, and based on where you take it is going to determine how effective it is, right? So once you're done performing all of your actions, right, you place your die on the scales, and where it lands depends on whether it came from the light or the shadow, so which side it goes on, right? And when the time comes and you have to weigh your heart, you compare the weight of your pure and tainted actions to see really kind of how you come out on that. So what your fate holds, right? So you have to keep your eye on the obelisk. That's what it says here. Keep your eye on the obelisk of the sun. Depending on the game phase, it will cast its shadow in different directions and on different dice. So it has multiple layers kind of going up on whether it's forbidden and you can't take it, or whether it's just less effective or it's most effective, and whether it's in the shadow or not. So determining that taint. So all right, so let's take a look at this one and let's get moving, because I am very excited about it. I know I mentioned that, but hey, what can I say? All right, so let's take a look at this one. This one's not as heavy a game in terms of physical weight as, I won't say it's Teotihuacan. I haven't picked that up in a little bit, but I think it feels about the same as that. But recently unboxed Alma Mater. It doesn't feel quite as heavy as Alma Mater. It's close, but not quite physically. I think from a gameplay perspective, it'll probably be a little bit heavier. Ooh, look at that. So this is a hollow plastic, right? But it's still that. I mean, you pop open the box, right, and that's right there. It looks good. It's got you can see. Let me hold it just right there. You can see the markings, kind of going all up. That's pretty cool. That's a good cast. Well done, right? It looks like it has a good way of fitting into the board too. So they blunted the top, which is good, right? So it doesn't. But I will say the corners here, these edges, these corners. This one's not too bad, but this one, that's really pretty sharp right there too. Yeah. So be careful with that, right? Okay. Lots of dice. So very good. All right, in different colors. Should be familiar for those that are familiar with Teotihuacan. So these are, looks like you've got pillars and you've got some different building blocks as well. And these are wood. I'll take a look at those in here in just a minute. Kind of standard bag. This one's not as thick or stiff, which is not a bad thing actually. I think that's pretty good, right? It's still pretty solid. It's not, doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart or anything, but it's not lined or anything like that. But that doesn't need to be, right? That's pretty good. Okay, looks like these are some player aids. So turn structure, take one die, pure or tainted, to either perform the god action associated with the section the die was taken from, or produce resources, the type corresponding to the color of the die, up to your production value, with excess turning into taint. Well, that's no good, right? You don't want that. Alternatively, spend 2 scribes to perform an Anubis action with any die. So yeah, I love that. I mean, the Egyptian gods, that is pretty cool. So you got Horus and Ra, Hathor, Bastet, again, pronunciation, I'm sorry, right? Thoth, Osiris, right? So build 1 statue to honor of a god or for the people, raise 1 pillar for Ra. I mean, so each one, these are the actions, right? So pretty cool. Backside of that, showing the dice affinities, so the color, what resource it is, sunny, shaded, and dark, and what that means, what you can get out of it. Very cool. So ability gets triggered when, yeah, all right, nice. Those look like they're worth something. They'll be good. Okay, so a little band of some small, of some cards there. Let me slide one of those out just to feel it. Okay. So these are the little mini cards, right? Not too big, not too bad though. There you go. So this one, score the temple complex again. The text isn't too small. It's not too bad. They're good. They're not, again, not the linen finish or anything like that, like you would expect out of one of the Lacerda games, but it is good. They do feel nice. And I say they're not linen finish. They are actually a linen finish. You can kind of see a little bit in that, and if I can get the light to hit it just right, you can see kind of that texturing. Yeah, it may be hard to see there, but a little bit. It's not as heavy a finish though, so it's fairly light, but it does feel good. The art looks good. I know some of the people I played with didn't like the art for Teotihuacan. They said it was just kind of bland as far as the colors go. You're going to have a similar look here, I think, in terms of color. I think the box art is much more dynamic, I think, than the board art or what you see on this. You'll have small splashes of color, right? That you like what you're seeing there, right? You're going to get small splashes, not a lot. But I think that's indicative, and I think it still looks good. It's thematic. It works well. Yeah, no issues with that. Which is good. So, whoa, that's a hefty rule book, right? But just like Teotihuacan, it's laid out really well. I think that's one thing I really liked about that game is the rule book actually was really good, spelling out the different phases and that kind of thing, giving you good examples throughout and how things work. So very good. So you've got the special solo mode, and it's got its own. So, hey, there's another 6 or 7 pages in the back dedicated to the solo mode. So, yeah, not bad, right? That adds a little bit to it, right? But 21 pages of rule book, which, again, laid out well, spelled out, as long as it gets to everything it needs to get to, and it does a good job, which it does look like it is doing a good job of that. Just flipping through it again. I flipped through the PDF of this rule book, before. Also love this, spelling out each one of the cards. It's got the card ID here, the symbol, what that effect is. Excellent. I love it when games do this. This is well done. Very nice. Okay. All right, let's get to the fun stuff, right? Let's pop this one open. All right. Looks like we've got I like that too. I like it when they seal them up in something that's easy to get open and you don't have to dig at it where you might cause some issues there. So let's set that there like that. Okay, so the obelisk is going to just go right there. Okay, they come out nicely. And hey, those are pretty thick too. All right, let's take a look at that. Yeah, it's a good thick card. I like it. Yeah, good. Yeah, nice. Hey, it is a board game, right? So I don't have any problem whatsoever with the idea of using cardboard, and I think this is good thick cardboard. So very nice. Okay. All right. So let's see. Got some of those, and just a lot. Looks like there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 6 sheets in there to punch out. Looks like a lot of punching with some resources and stuff in there too. I hate to say it, but I am looking forward to, hopefully, if maybe BGG will do some of their geek up bits for this. I'm definitely a fan of those. I like those. Bought them for a few things, and I like them a lot. Oh, my box is already feeling like it's starting to split at the corner. It is a fairly, say that's maybe a little frustrating, but hey, there are a lot of games like that. I mean, Terraforming Mars, looking at you. Yeah, at least the original box. I imagine that big box is going to be a little different when it comes in, but with all that, and yes, I will be doing an unboxing of that once I get it, because I did order that one, and with all the fun stuff. All right. Okay, so let's look at that board. Man. Okay, so the board actually on this one, and you can probably see it a little better. Let me zoom out some so you get a better look at it. Okay. Yeah. Look at that. That board, that looks pretty sharp. I'm a fan. I like that. See if I can maybe get this to, if I can get it to swivel a little bit. Oh, there we go. All right. See if I can tighten that up some. Maybe it won't fall over. There we go. Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, that kind of take a look at the colors there. I will say that I think just kind of looking here on the camera, you probably can't see it quite as well. It is, but this is a really, I do think this is a good looking board. It's definitely a little bit better. So pardon me moving things around here a little bit. I think this is a really sharp and good looking board. It's definitely a more dynamic board than I expected to find. I'd seen a little bit about this game, but not as much, obviously. It is a lot more color than what you see on the Teotihuacan board, significantly more. And the base colors are still in this one specifically, it's that brown. It's the stone and the walkways, that kind of area, the dirt around it's kind of what we think of, I think, when you think of that time in Egypt, and so it's not it isn't all sorts of crazy. It has a lot of very smooth spaces in it. There's a little bit of textures. There's some people here. Obviously, it looks like they were worshiping and other things kind of going around. So I do like that. I think this is good. I think it's, again, well laid out. They've got the different symbols of the gods on each space there. That's pretty cool. This looks really good. I'm excited. I can't wait to play this. This is going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, this looks good. Good looking board. And I'll tell you what, let's get some of these pieces out and let's look at some of these. We'll talk about these a little bit, if you're interested. So this looks like, just based on the colors that we've got here, I think we've got some pretty bright colors, with the blue, the pink, and orange, and a purple. I don't know where those rank on the, as far as accessibility goes. They seem similar in some ways to the colors that Ian O'Toole uses in a lot of his games for accessibility purposes. Or at least I assume, because they're a little wild. but these are good. I do like these. They feel good. These are the they almost look like little stair-step building pieces. Let me take a look here in the rule book and I'll tell you what they are. So those are the buildings. Okay, yep. So these are the structures, these buildings. You got 10 of these per player. They end up going out like that. So, okay, you'll have player boards that are kind of wrapped up in this that will punch out. It looks like we did see one of those actually on the back side here. It looks like this piece here, this is your player board, and you'll punch these out. So there you'll have these discs, or they're actually not discs, the cubes will go inside those. So very good. So that looks good. Speaking of the cubes, there you go. They are wood. They're good. They feel good. They're pretty standard feeling there. These, like I said, these are the pillars, and those feel pretty good too. There's a pretty decent number of those. It looks like you got 8 per player. You're going to have statues. These are the statues. Looks like you've got about 6 of those per player. You're going to have mott markers, victory point markers, and population markers. And so you've got a couple of different meeples in this, it looks like. And looks like they may be mixed in with this, although maybe not. Thought maybe they were. They mixed in with this. Nope. Uh-oh. I may be missing some stuff. Let's take a look. Nope, there they are. Okay. So you've got some different ones there. You've got 1 per player. Those are your population marker. And then you've got 1 per player with your happiness marker, which is a itty bitty teeny tiny meeple. It's not very big. Okay. So having said that, still, hey, not too shabby either though, right? So, okay. Well, this has been an unboxing the Board of Damocles. This was Tekhenu, Obelisk of the Sun. And this was from Daniel Tashini and David Turchi from Board and Dice. Yeah, this looks really good. I think if my only complaint is that the box is kind of flimsy, that's pretty bad, right? But I think this is going to be a fantastic and wonderful game. I can't wait to do a solo play review of this, and maybe be able to find it online and play it with some friends, maybe, or hey, get the family together and do a review for you. All right, this has been Jim Buchanan, and this is another unboxing of this one, the Tekhenu and the Board of Damocles. Thank you very much.